You've stepped into this story at the exact moment everything changes. For years, the electric vehicle world looked settled. The rules felt locked in. Lithium-ion batteries weren't just dominant, they were untouchable. Every major EV on the road depended on them, and the industry treated their limitations as unavoidable facts of life. Range anxiety, slow charging, battery degradation. Those weren't problems to solve, they were compromises everyone had learned to accept. Then the board flipped. Quietly at first, almost invisibly. In the second quarter of 2025, a few carefully chosen words slipped into conversations that most people ignored. Talk of batteries not as incremental upgrades, but as a complete reset. At the time, it sounded vague, almost philosophical, but the clock had already counted down. A few months later, the picture snapped into focus. The curtain lifted on a new vehicle platform, and with it came something that sent shockwaves through the entire industry. Aluminum-ion batteries stepping out of the lab and into real cars. Not as a concept, not as a prototype, as a production-ready system. The headlines were dramatic. The end of lithium, the death of the old EV order. But beneath the noise was a more unsettling question. Was this truly the beginning of a new era in electric mobility, or just another hype cycle destined to collapse under scrutiny? To understand what's actually happening, you have to look deeper than the announcement. You have to rewind years before the reveal, back to a time when no one realized the groundwork was already being laid. Aluminum-ion technology didn't appear overnight. Scientists have chased it for decades, drawn by its promise and frustrated by its flaws. Aluminum is abundant, cheap, and stable, but turning it into a high-density rechargeable battery has always come with brutal challenges. Instability, short lifespans, energy density nightmares that made lithium look unbeatable. That's where most attempts stalled. But instead of forcing aluminum-ion into the old mold, the engineers took a different approach. They didn't just solve the chemistry problem, they redesigned the entire ecosystem around it. And here's where the story takes its first sharp turn. Instead of locking this breakthrough behind the purchase of a brand new vehicle, something far more radical happened. Owners of cars built years earlier suddenly found themselves part of the future. Vehicles manufactured after 2021 weren't obsolete, they were compatible. This wasn't luck, it was architecture. A modular backbone had been quietly standardized across factories on different continents. Mounting points, cooling paths, structural dimensions. Every vehicle was being prepared for something that hadn't yet arrived. That something was a modular battery interface, a system designed to allow the heart of the car to be swapped without tearing the body apart. No chassis redesign, no mechanical surgery, just a clean, deliberate exchange. For drivers, this changed everything. What once meant taking on another loan now became a calculated upgrade, a way to extend the life of a vehicle instead of replacing it. The idea that your car could evolve rather than age suddenly stopped sounding futuristic and started sounding practical. The module itself is anything but an afterthought. Its dimensions are sculpted to occupy every available millimeter of the skateboard platform beneath the car. Roughly 70 inches long, 55 inches wide, and engineered to stay under a strict weight ceiling. Every gram accounted for, every gap eliminated. This isn't a marketing attachment, it's a precision instrument. And yet, fitting physically is only half the battle. Chemistry doesn't play nice with legacy systems. Lithium-ion cells operate around 3.8 volts per cell. Aluminum-ion cells exist in an entirely different electrical universe, pushing voltage levels that would instantly overwhelm systems designed for lithium. Drop one into a car without preparation and you wouldn't get a faster vehicle, you'd get silence, smoke, and a dead control board. That's where the real engineering war begins. Instead of forcing hardware to adapt mechanically, the solution comes through intelligence. A multi-chemistry management system sits between the battery and the vehicle, constantly interpreting what it's dealing with. Voltage profiles, thermal behavior, current demands. The system doesn't assume, it measures, adjusts, and rewrites the rules in real time. The inverter doesn't panic when it sees unfamiliar numbers, it recalibrates. And the most disruptive part isn't the hardware at all. It's how the transition happens. No tools, no cables, no teardown. A software update reprograms the vehicle's electronic nervous system to speak a new electrical language. The car wakes up after the update with an entirely different heart, already synchronized. For the first time, software isn't just optimizing performance, it's redefining what hardware can be. Of course, raw power brings its own dangers. Higher density means higher thermal risk, and energy doesn't forgive mistakes. Heat buildup is the enemy of longevity and safety, and this is where most ambitious battery tech has failed. So the cooling system didn't just evolve, it transformed. Instead of relying solely on centralized cooling, microchannels run beneath each module, pulling heat away before it can concentrate. Heat pipes actively siphon thermal energy and redirect it into engineered sinks designed to disperse it efficiently. The entire system lives inside a self-contained sled that brings its own thermal armor, meaning the vehicle itself doesn't need invasive modifications. The result is control. Even under extreme charging conditions, temperatures remain stable, staying well below thresholds that traditionally trigger degradation or danger. That stability unlocks something drivers feel immediately: charging speed. Not incremental improvement, a rewrite. Charging that once took hours compresses into minutes. Massive current flows without panic, without throttling, without the creeping anxiety of heat warnings. Forgetting to charge overnight stops being a crisis. A short stop becomes enough to reclaim meaningful range. This isn't just about performance, it's about behavior. Convenience changes how people live with their vehicles more than any spec sheet ever could. Then there's the economic shockwave. Replacing an entire vehicle every few years has always been a fantasy reserved for a small minority. Most drivers stretch ownership as long as possible, balancing degradation against depreciation. A high-performance upgrade flips that equation. More range, faster charging, and a dramatically extended lifespan for a fraction of the cost of replacement doesn't just improve value, it dismantles planned obsolescence. Vehicles stop being disposable technology. They become long-term platforms. That shift ripples outward. Used cars gain new relevance. A vehicle from just a few years ago, upgraded once, suddenly competes with brand new offerings. Resale values stabilize. The market recalibrates around capability rather than model year. And that's only the automotive side. The energy implications are even larger. A high-density battery sitting idle in a garage isn't wasted capacity anymore. With vehicle-to-grid integration, cars become distributed energy assets. During peak demand, stored power flows back into the grid, easing strain and stabilizing infrastructure. Owners don't just consume energy, they participate in its distribution. A parked car becomes a silent power plant. Credits replace costs, stability replaces fragility. The grid shifts from centralized vulnerability to decentralized resilience. Perhaps the most profound change is psychological. Range anxiety fades into irrelevance. Battery degradation stops being a countdown timer. Aluminum-ion chemistry opens the door to lifespans measured not in years, but in decades. Million-mile expectations stop sounding optimistic and start sounding conservative. What's unfolding isn't just a battery upgrade, it's a complete reframing of ownership.
Instead of buying into a cycle of replacement, drivers buy into evolution. Hardware becomes a foundation, not a limitation. Today's technology is no longer the ceiling, it's a placeholder. When you step back and look at the full picture, it becomes clear this isn't a single innovation. It's a coordinated system solving chemistry, software, economics, infrastructure, and longevity all at once. The critics who dismissed electric vehicles as fragile, expensive, or temporary suddenly find themselves without an argument. The board has changed. The materials have changed. The assumptions have changed. And now the question isn't whether this shift is coming. It's whether you're ready to stop thinking of a car as something you replace and start thinking of it as something that grows with you.